The media have never been terribly popular. They are less popular year after year after year. I mean, you have to go back to the Cronkite era to find a time when the news business was trusted by most Americans. Now the polls are down in the toilet. I think the divisiveness and the polarization surrounding the presidential campaign has made that even more prominent and has made many people think the media are more biased than ever. I get it. Interesting email from Pat, who says, I'm a graduate of journalism school, which I attended as a graduate in history and political science. Pat says, my comment is that the media stink. Wow, not pulling any punches, Pat. You guys have bastardized every professional and noble principle of being a journalist. You guys have not informed or educated the electorate about the issues and discussed them properly for the voters. It has been sleaze and smut and sensationalism and trifling. Yes, the media have been very biased, and yes, the media have piled on Trump unfairly. To think that this is the USA media is daunting, and those women trotting out really nasty and full of revulsion, yuck. Media is cheap and a knockoff version. Any fool can see they're in the tank for Clinton. They haven't discussed WikiLeaks or any of the Clinton career failures or vulnerabilities. Well, a lot to unpack there. First of all, I would say the media are not just some monolithic mass. You have reporters out there whose names you may not know, or not the gas bags you see on television, who try really hard to be fair. They may not be perfectly fair. Everyone brings their own baggage. But I think to lump everybody in the profession together is a mistake. Also, you say the media haven't discussed the issues properly. There are plenty of websites. There are newspapers. There are other forums where if you look carefully, you can see pretty substantive pieces about the candidates and where they stand on taxes and terrorism and healthcare and all kinds of secondary issues, and it's there. But I think when people think of the media these days, they think of, cable shoutfest, they think of ideological websites, they think of columnists, and they think of perhaps newspaper front pages they may think are loaded or tilted in another direction. So it seems, Pat, that as you go through this indictment of the media, you eventually come down and saying, well, in the tank for Hillary Clinton, not fair to Donald Trump. Certainly a lot of people would agree with you, but it's a little more complicated than that, and you have your own political views. You sound like somebody who is more favorable to the Republican side, so that may influence the way you look at it as well. Look, I make a living at this, and sometimes I'm embarrassed by what the profession does. Sensationalism, you point out, and smut, yeah, that's all a fair indictment. Doesn't mean the women who've accused Donald Trump aren't telling the truth, but it does mean that we have to be fair in covering it and not over-covering it and not overkilling every story that seems to be negative toward the Republican nominee. So thank you for the feedback. I will try to continue to focus on these issues. And my colleagues need to do a better job, because credibility, in the end, is the one thing we're selling. We lose that, it's over, folks.